welcome everybody, a very, very warm welcome to all you Moonstomper-roonies out there. Hope you're keeping fine. I'm Mrs Moonstomper.
And I'm Mr Moonstomper, as if you couldn't guess, but I think you already knew that anyway. And I think you already knew that's Mrs Moonstomper, and why wouldn't you? Guys, so we hope you had an amazing Christmas.
Yes.
We hope you really enjoyed it, and we hope you enjoyed the Christmas special, those of you who watched it. Okay, we realised it wasn't that popular, but
Hey-ho.
yeah, there you go. So we're fast approaching 2025, and to celebrate the end of 2024 in style, why not do something a bit scared?
Yeah, why not? And why not?
So, what were we going to talk about today, Mrs Moonstomper?
The band Skrewdriver.
Well, yeah, it's already on there actually.
Screwdriver, not screwdriver.
Yeah, it's
See what I did there?
it's the same, only spelled differently.
Yeah.
But then again, I sound like John Coffey now, don't I? I don't look like John Coffey, obviously.
Spelled the same.
Yeah, just different
different.
bowls. Right, so Skrewdriver. Now, in my humble opinion, and in fact everybody else's humble opinion, this is a controversial band.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, but for many other reasons as well. And we like nothing but a little bit of controversy on Moonstomper originals, kind of. But we won't do people dirty, because I don't think that's fair, especially if they're not there to answer.
I was going to say that we weren't there, so.
No, exactly. We weren't there. They're not here to answer to anything. It's not us casting aspersions on anything. It's just having a look at what I think is, politics aside, a great rock and roll band, in my humble opinion. So,
many others.
Yeah. So, Mrs Moonstomper.
Yes.
Mrs Moonstomper.
Yes, Mrs.
Let's start as we mean to go on.
Go on, yes.
What do you know about Skrewdriver?
Well, the lead singer, Ian Stewart Donaldson. There's him.
Yeah, right, okay. So, I think it all leads back to Ian Stewart as well. So, some people call him Ian Stewart, some people call him Ian Stewart Donaldson.
Yes.
Ian Stewart, I think it does all lead back to him actually.
Yeah.
Now, it's a controversial band, but it doesn't get controversial till later.
Right.
Now, they started off in 1976.
Hailing from Lancashire.
Polton-le-Field, home of where they make sticks of rock for Blackpool.
Oh yes.
No more, no less. Right, and apart from a stick of rock making factory, they're into great deal to do Polton-le-Field. I can assure you, it's a bit like Barrow-in-Furness or any other seaside town. It's a bit
like what, Blackpool with all the hotels and all.
Nothing of the sort.
Oh right,
It's
I
a
thought
bit more.
Like similar.
No, not even close.
Okay.
Not even close. Now, 1976 in the United Kingdom, punk was a big thing. It was the new explosion.
Yes, it was.
The Sex Pistols, the
Shamsatine.
Yeah, absolutely. And those guys, starting as a punk band, realised that a couple of things quickly. Number one, they were not going to get really, really famous in Polton-le-Field at all, because it's that band from Polton-le-Field. It's not the same as this. It's not where the music is. So to move where the music is, they went to Manchester.
Okay.
Eventually, in fact, they didn't go to Manchester first.
To London.
They went to London
Yes,
first.
they did,
So they went to Manchester later.
Yes.
Now, the original members, so it was on the bass, it was Kevin McKay, Grinny,
John Grimson on the drums.
Bingo, John Grinton, yeah, Grinny on the drums,
Grinny, yes.
and then Phil Walmsley on the guitar,
Yes.
and Ian Stewart played guitar and vocals,
yes.
and they kind of got their mojo together. So their first LP, which they released when they got to London on it was the Chiswick label.
Yes.
Right, the Chiswick label was all screwed up.
Okay.
And they didn't do that to 77. By which time they'd got a following, a big following.
Yes.
but all was not well in England, was
Okay.
it, at that point in time?
Oh no.
So,
As we always say.
well, yeah, and
Yes.
I think it's one of the most fascinating periods in modern English history. And I chose English rather than British history.
British,
But
alright.
no, in fact, probably British history actually.
Yes, I
Northern
understand.
Ireland was a bit different, but I'm going to come to Northern Ireland later because there is a connection
There
between
is.
Screwdriver and Northern Ireland, and we'll come back to that later. So, unemployment was starting to skyrocket. We'd sort of we'd had the longest, hottest summer ever, which I remember so well.
Me too.
We'd had a hideous winter, and we'd kind of had the winter of discontent, and it was blackouts after blackouts after blackouts, and racial tension was
rife.
it was absolutely rife, and it was getting to meltdown, getting critical actually.
Yes, oh gosh.
And there's two sides of the coin to that. So right, this is not a sociology episode, but I think you have to set the social background to get the context of what the band's about.
Of course.
And this is why, in my opinion, I hate bands. I don't hate bands, but I hate politics within music.
We'll disagree.
Well, yeah, I do disagree because you know what I will say is that if you pin your colours to the mast and you go, I'm strictly communist or strictly capitalist or whatever, you've lost half your audience
Okay.
straight away.
Yes.
And I think that's a shame because music should be for everyone.
That's it.
No, and right, so I don't agree with Screwdriver's politics,
Oh gosh, no.
but
Hell no.
that's up to those guys.
Yeah, it's their life.
Yeah, it's their life. If they
What
want
they
it,
want
if
to do.
that's their views differ to mine. Big deal. I still like the music,
Of course.
but I don't listen too closely to the words.
If people want to follow, it's up to them also.
Yeah, again, if they want to sing that, that's like I say, that's their opinion.
Oh, yes.
And I kind of got to thinking, eventually I'm an adult and I can just choose what I want to choose. And
make
I can
your
listen to
own
what I want to listen to.
decisions.
And
Oh yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Whether you do or don't.
Exactly that. Exactly that. And just because I think someone is a knob, it doesn't mean, and they've got crap views, it doesn't mean their work of art.
You still
Is-
like what they
Yeah.
produce.
Exactly. Personally, I think Banksy is a knob.
Alright.
Because he, who is Banksy anyway?
I don't think anybody's
Yeah,
seen him.
exactly. Well, no, they probably have, but I like his artwork.
Oh yes.
But again, the political undertone, it's always a poke at politics.
Okay.
It's a poke at capitalism, and yeah, whether that's right or whether that's wrong. But I don't like that, but I like his artwork.
Oh yes, yes.
you know.
It looks good.
Yeah, it looks amazing, and
Yes.
it is quite amusing.
Some of it, yes.
Yeah, and just take it for what it is. So that's my colours nailed to the mast. So basically, I couldn't care less. So what's your thoughts on that, Mrs Moonstomper?
What he said.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, honestly, yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more, really.
Yeah, and some of you guys at home might, you might lean left, you might lean right, you might, whichever way you lean. Does it really matter? Is that something to fall out over?
No,
I
not
don't.
really.
No, I don't think it is.
No.
I don't think it is because, like I say, I'm adult enough to put that to one side and go, do you know
Oh,
what?
gosh,
I
yes.
can still be friends with you, but
And like what you produce.
yeah, exactly. So
Yes.
anyway, we went off the beaten track there, but I think that was important to kind of set the background.
Of course. Yes.
So going back to the troubles of the 70s, right? What became prevalent was like racial clashes and racial tension within certain communities.
Organisations as well.
Yeah, especially within inner cities. So organisations such as the National Front.
the NF.
Yeah, they became that came right to the fore, right to the fore.
gosh.
Now the British National Party, that didn't start till later.
Much
But
later.
the National Front, that was, yeah, okay, that's fair enough. If that's what you want to believe, that's absolutely fine.
Floats
Yeah,
your boat.
if you want to believe in communism, that's also absolutely fine as well. I don't particularly care. It's not going to upset my day.
No,
but
as long as I leave it over there,
yeah,
don't
exactly.
come in my face
But
with it.
the problem is when
Don't
people start getting hurt over it.
Oh gosh, or even killed.
That for me is a problem. That for me
It's a
is
problem.
it's a society problem. It's a major problem. And there's not a single government who's ever going to be able to clamp down that and tackle that.
No.
So that kind of is what it is. At that point in time, you got bands like Sham 69,
Oh yes.
they were on the same circuit as Skrewdriver. So
Yes,
Skrewdriver,
right.
like we said, they went to London, they did all Screwed Up,
Yes.
and they got quite a hefty following on that scene. So it was
yes.
a punk scene at the time, and they were still punks.
Yes. Yes. There was.
In the main. Sham 69, what they found is that skinheads started attending their concerts,
Yes, they did.
and the skinheads and we've been through those videos
Oh,
before.
gosh.
There's what's a right wing skinhead, what's a left wing skinhead.
Which you can't tell until they act.
Yeah, exactly. And
Until they put the emotions into action.
I don't care so long as you just keep your sorrows in your backside. That's what I say. Just keep them right on your backside.
Yes.
Not interested. I'm into the music and the lifestyle and the fashion that goes with it, and that's as much as I want to do. Any more than that, to me, that's like that's
That's
bad.
what I think.
That's a bad juju. So
Yes.
it's really that's not a thing. But those skinheads were attending Sham 69 concerts, and they were right wing skinheads.
Yes.
For me, I was happy to be a suede head, mod, skinhead, and mix amongst the whole three of them, because to me, suede head got more girls because he was more classier and more, do you understand, better dressed. Skinhead was more, I am staring at you and being provocative, and mod was, I'm on a scooter, but I still have the same ideals and dance to the same music, which is reggae and Stax, Tamla Motown, to all three cultures. Sham would play a particular gig, and there would be fascist skinheads at the gig. Zeke, I was laughing. They knew that I was for real. It wasn't some guy standing there and going, no, you mustn't do that. It was me going, you look really stupid to me, because what you're doing is a retro hybrid of something that was pure, and you have stained it for life. You have made every skinhead now look like whether you are not or you are a fascist part of a system.
They were also attending Screwdriver concerts.
Of course.
And they were also attending Clash concerts and Sex Pistols concerts, and the Selector as well. Now the Selector they were a little bit later.
Yes.
But they suffered the same, and the Special suffered the same
Oh,
as well.
gosh.
So some of them are playing reggae style, as in your ska and your two-tone, and the other are playing. So it's
skinhead and punk
well, yeah, it's
music.
punk music, but in my mind that derives from blues music.
Yes.
In my mind, that it's blues derived, sometimes really badly played actually, and I never sort of got the idea of why would you go to that concert to listen to that,
Yes.
only to chant that.
Chant and zig heiling, putting your arm up, zig heiling to the music and making trouble.
Well, yeah, well, there's a couple of things. You're not German.
I know.
Yeah, so what's
Don't know why British people adapted that for them. I really don't understand.
I don't know, but right, the same time,
Supposed to be British.
at the same time, if you're British, you should be proud to be British.
Yes.
You know, I'm not ashamed to be British at all. I'm not ashamed to be white, incidentally,
you shouldn't have
or
to.
male, or old, or bald, or short, or fat,
you
or
shouldn't.
whatever. I'm not ashamed of any of those things.
No.
And neither should anybody else be, because if you have to make an apology for it, then you've kind of lost theirs, haven't you?
Yeah, you have a problem with a serious problem. You shouldn't have to answer to anybody at all.
So in answer to all that, anyway, the Clash decided, let's do Rock Against Racism.
And Sham was 69, they had enough and
Well,
denounced
that's why they jumped on that bandwagon.
Yes.
So that Rock Against Racism, that was a big concert in, I think it was Hyde Park in London.
Oh,
in
yes.
fact it was. And there was about, I don't know how many 100,000 people were there.
A lot.
But yeah, there was a lot there, and it was filmed for posterity, and there's various films floating about, and I've watched bits of that, especially with the Clash, and it's damn good.
So when we've done narrating.
Well, he yes.
All right.
But
I think,
yeah, but that's the later one where he does that. But the Clash actually filmed
looking
it
back, yes.
anyway. Looking back, and the biggest problem with that, again, going into social things, that's people speaking for other people when they don't really know what the other people are actually going through. So I don't know if that's cultural appropriation.
I think so.
Which seems to be a popular thing these days.
Yes, oh God, it is cultural appropriate, yes it is.
So, you know, I can't speak for other cultures, colours or creeds, because I don't know what they're going through.
No.
I can hazard a guess.
Yes.
But for me to do that, I would say it's disingenuous and it's weakening that other culture, because that other culture should be able to stand for themselves and speak for themselves and go, well, do you know what, we've had enough, this is what we're going to do about it.
That's why there's that BLM in there.
Well, I don't know, but that's a different thing altogether, and I'm
Yes.
not even going to go down that route
don't.
because, you know, there's plenty of things you can say about that as well. So, you know, just because you stand up for it doesn't mean it's correct.
That's it, true.
And just because you stand against it doesn't mean it's correct. And that's why I'm right on that fence there, and there ain't no one going to tip me off on
That's
that.
it, I remain neutral.
So,
in the middle.
going back to Ian Stewart,
Yes.
now the fascinating fact about him, he was in a Rolling Stones cover band, wasn't
Yes, he was, yes.
So, which was the Tumbling Dice.
Oh, nearly forgot then.
Nearly forgot.
Tumbling Dice,
yeah,
yes.
so before he joined Skrewdriver,
Yes.
Rolling Stones band Tumbling Dice. So, rock was in his heart, first and foremost,
Yes.
rather than skinhead.
Skinhead punk.
Yeah.
Skinhead / punk.
So what they did was they actually changed and they went to like a biker look almost.
Alright, a rocker, biker type
Yeah, they did.
image.
They changed that and
Yes.
they lived with that for a bit. And yeah.
And they didn't do so well, did they?
Well, they didn't, but I don't know if they were just capitalising on what was just coming into the fore then, which was the new wave of British heavy metal, where some of their stuff can actually, I'm not saying pass for it, but it wasn't far off. It was a little bit more melodic, a little bit slower, a bit more bluesy, a little bit different, but very, very, very basic.
Yeah.
It was very basic, sort of stripped down. What I would say was without just to cause offence, almost like a pub band.
Okay.
But
The pub rock band.
yeah, but I'd say the same about the Clash.
Yes, you've always said that.
But the Clash are amazing.
Yes.
And
I like the Clash.
in my opinion, Skrewdriver are amazing as well, musically.
Yes.
So, they used to frequently, in London, was it the Roxy and the Vortex?
Yes.
So,
That
and
was called, yeah, Roxy and the Vortex.
wasn't there an incident in one of those with Bob Geldof?
Oh yeah. One of Ian Donaldson's friends punched him clean out, punched Bob Geldof.
He thought he was
Spark out cold.
He thought he was trying to mess with the sound or something like that when they'd set up for a gig or something. He was trying to mess with the sound. I mean, punching Bob Geldof out, you know. I mean, yeah.
I don't know if he actually was messing or did mess, but he paid for it with his
I don't know, that's a nicer bloke, to be honest. And all screwed up, they changed that, sometimes known as, I can't remember what it was known as, they changed it and they put a few extra songs in. I'll put the name on the screen because I forget, because it's been that long ago. The one thing I will say, now the skinhead look, right, now some of you skins out there, well I don't know, you know, in terms of age, some of you might not be old enough, some of you are probably way older than me, will remember Skrewdriver as punks. Others won't, and they'll think that it's just a die-hard boy band that started in the 80s. But that look, that skinhead look, was actually manufactured, so rumour would have it.
Oh, right.
And what they said was the rock look wasn't getting anything and they weren't doing so well.
You like the leather jackets and denims, or the denim jackets?
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
So they changed.
Oh, the rockers from the 60s, like up to like the early 70s.
But it was their look. Their look as rockers wasn't drawing the crowds.
Oh, I see.
So changed from punk to rock, and it was kind of, punk was going off the board at that point as well. So skinhead had just come back. Skinhead had just come back massively with the, what I'd say was the second wave of ska.
Okay, yes.
And the sort of two-tone ska revival.
Yes.
And groups like Bad Manners, obviously, the Specials, that sort of thing as well. And you'd also got Oi as well, which was just kind of, now, the skinhead look was adopted, so rumour would have it, because it made the band more popular.
Your typical Dockers, your jeans and your t-shirt and your bomber jacket.
It was that look. So it's the look that I more likely to adopt.
Yeah.
Then
your
the
crew cut.
then the sort of traditional, sort of check shirts.
Yes.
Boots and braces, and then the all the tonic suit look. So it was very.
I think those are the good skinheads, the ones that wore tonic suits.
Well, no, because let's be honest.
Oh,
just
right.
because I wore a green bomber jacket, and I still wear an MA1 jacket out, and I wear my docks, and I wear my braces, and I wear those with pride.
Yes.
And the looks I get.
Okay.
I must be a neo-Nazi straight away because I'm wearing those.
No, but the thing is that what you just described, them that mixed with the ones with the tonic suits, them were the good ones. But you could sort of, when you get to see them out and about, you could like see the bad ones amongst the good.
I couldn't. No, I disagree.
You could see with the way they behaved.
I behaved disgracefully.
Did you?
I did. I'll be honest with you. I behaved disgracefully. I mean, absolutely. But as in antisocially. But it doesn't mean that I was an absolute racist prick. It doesn't, it doesn't mean that at all.
Well, then again,
what it means, I was out with the lads, right? So skinhead, right, is all about. It's about the boots, the braces, and the beer and the camaraderie.
Yeah.
That's it. It's football. Go and watch football matches. It's the same bloody difference. And that's what it was about. It's not about kicking somebody's head in because they've got a different coloured skin.
Yes.
Because that's just like stupid.
It is. It don't make no sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. So I'll go and kick somebody's head in because they've got different coloured skin, but I'll go to the shop where they serve food the next day. Yeah, well that's just ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. So that's just stupid. Yeah. So going back to there, look, that was some would say. And rumour has it that was manufactured, and they weren't. Well, it was obvious because they weren't the die-hard skins that they were. But adopting that look, adopted a following.
Yes.
And the following was, like you just said, the bad side of it.
Okay.
And
this makes you wonder why.
But the rest of the band didn't want it.
No, they didn't, did they?
Well, Ian Stewart described himself as a national socialist, not as initially. So he said, "I'm a national socialist. I'm not I'm not national front. I'm just a national socialist. I like Great Britain. I stand up for Great Britain." And kudos to the bloke for that. There's nothing wrong with doing that.
No.
You can wear that Union flag, you can wear that George Cross, and you shouldn't be ashamed of doing that.
No.
but it's the undertones with it.
But it's always the undertones,
well,
isn't it?
Well, I think the undertones were actually a good band, but see what I did there.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Boom boom.
So, going back to that drew the wrong crowd, and because the rest of the band didn't want it.
So some of them stuck with Ian, but others didn't.
Through that, so those 4 members, right, that band changed, and there were tens of members, and for me to sit there and reel off every member, wow,
just too many.
You would be here for a long time.
Just like band manners, all them different band members. We only named a few, and that's all we could do because we take all day.
Yeah, take all day. We could put them on the screen, but do you know what? Who cares? Because some had a few months, some had a couple of years, and so one revelation. So in '78, Mark
Radcliffe.
So who's Mark Radcliffe, Mrs
He's
Moonstomper?
a radio presenter.
Radio
I
1.
think he started Radio 5.
Was it Radio 5?
Yes, and then moved to Radio 1 in 1991, and he did the Mark and Lark show.
Did indeed.
With Mark Riley.
Now, anybody's thinking Mark Radcliffe was in Skrewdriver, that was 1978.
Yes.
And he was the drummer.
He was the first drummer.
No, not the first drummer, the second drummer.
Oh, was he second?
Yeah.
Well, he left before they turned, didn't they? He left way before.
Yeah, because he didn't want a piece of what he saw that was coming. Was the music's great, but when you're pulling in the wrong crowd,
that's it. And your beliefs as well.
That's not so great. Just go there and enjoy the music, guys. That's what you have to do. You have to go there and take your bloody religion and your politics there. That's stupid,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's for sheeple, that is. And I'm not a sheeple, thank you.
I know.
That's all, thank you.
That's a good. I've not heard that one before. Sheeple.
I think everyone's heard that one. I just thought that was a common terminology.
Yeah.
So
lemming.
Yeah, but they were they hit a demise rapidly because the following they got, the record label dropped them.
Oh yes.
They went no, we can't. Yet they can't. They can't. The record label couldn't be involved in that because it literally it's corporate really suicide, financial suicide.
Oh gosh,
they're going to lose absolutely everything. The minute people say that's on that label, they're going to go. I don't really think else on that label because they support that. And you know what? It's not necessarily so, is it? But it's the way people think. Shallow minded, you see.
Of course.
So they split up after that, didn't they?
They
relocated to Manchester and split up.
Yes.
And that wasn't the end of Skrewdriver.
No.
Because
they returned, didn't they?
They did indeed. So let's go and have a break. Then we'll come back and we'll look at the second half of Skrewdriver, which is probably the most controversial part, I think. So, back in a moment.
Yes.
The main street for London as always here. Seeing some classics all out here. It's probably Teddy Boys, you know. Seeing as he's the one that smashed the gear up in the first place. Right, and this one, we're going to dedicate it to the Teddy Boys. We hate them as much as you do, you know. And this one's called Antisocial, and it's...
Skrewdriver from breezy Blackpool, attracted to London by the bright lights, streets paved with golden discs, and a recording contract they hadn't bothered to read, they swiftly fell foul of the new enemy of the punks, the Teddy Boys.
There's 5 of us and a 4, a roadie and a manageress. We're loading the gear up and there's about 1 mic stand left outside and a few drum stands. I look down the corner and there's all these Teddy Boys stood on the corner. And they all came down, he goes, here, what we got here? We got some fucking punks, you know. So we never said anything because it's not wise when there's 30 of us. So we, they started messing around, and most Teddy Boys are pretty soft. So none of them would do anything, and they're all going, come on, you know, with all the mates behind them, and if any of us moved forward, they moved. And then finally one of them was brave enough to pick up the mic stand and shove it through the back window, you know, bust the window. And so he picked up one of his drum stands and just swung around and hit him in the teeth, knocked his teeth out. Oh!
As punk caught on among young people, it became a focus for traditional adolescent rivalries. Punk versus Ted was just the latest stage in an age-old war that's seen mods and rockers, football bother boys and skinheads come and go.
The actual National Front leaders at that time did any of the work towards white noise. They left it to the people involved in the bands, but they just pocketed all the money. Now we in the bands actually in the end got a little bit fed up of it, because what was meant to be happening, the money made by White Noise Records, was meant to go to bring out more records and bring more nationalist groups into the actual recording studios and get out material. But in the end, the National Front leaders, which were the two that actually had control, which was Patrick Harrington and Derek Holland, they actually were using the money more for the political side of things, which was National Front News and Nationalism Today, the magazine.
If the front wanted the skinheads' money, it didn't want them as recruits. These are street fighters, cannon fodder to the front, not its clean-cut young cadre members to be trained in the politics of revolution.
There's a lot said about skinheads being started from blacks in the East End, but I don't think that's right at all. I mean, I've heard these rude boys or whatever they're called, but I don't consider them to be skinheads.
Hey, welcome back everybody. I hope you enjoyed that.
Certainly hope you did. So, we were saying, weren't we, Mrs Moonstomper, Skrewdriver. Right, not a very long history.
No.
Not really illustrious, but still a great band. In my humble opinion.
Yes.
A few will agree with me, some people won't agree with me, some people won't even know who they are.
No.
They didn't really chart for obvious reasons.
Okay.
And venues, so before we were saying how they were dropped by the record label, venues refused to host Skrewdriver.
Oh gosh, yes, big time.
And Sham 69 as well, for that reason, you know, for the reason of the trouble, it was allegedly going to attract. But again, what I'll say, with a lot of that, I would say it's media driven.
Okay.
Again, the media are absolute parasites sometimes, because what they'll do is they'll sensationalise it just to get a reaction, just to sell newspapers, just to get views, and that in my opinion is wrong. We don't do this channel just to get views at all. We do this channel for interest.
That's it. The love of music.
The love of
all things associated.
Absolutely, Mrs Moonstomper. I couldn't agree more with you. Completely agree with that. That's, you know, and it's just that. It's the love of music, and it's like-minded people,
of course,
that help this channel.
Yes.
And while we haven't got millions and millions of subs, you know, we've still got some really, really avid music lovers, and that's great. People who take part,
of course,
people who put things in the comments, and it's just great to have you on board, guys.
All for the love.
It is. So, Skrewdriver split up, and then they reformed in the early 80s, around about 82, something like that. And at that point in time, they weren't overtly racist. There was no, you know, they would deny it.
Okay.
And whether that was so they could sort of continue their career, who knows? And like I said earlier in the programme, Ian Donaldson said, you know, he wasn't, you know, overtly, he wasn't racist. He just aligned himself with like British nationalist socialist, not a German one. You know, so none of that was Zeke Hall, it was just British national socialist.
Okay.
You know, more in line with the British patriots.
Alright.
And, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with patriotism.
No.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, so long as it's in context of, you know, be patriotic. You don't shout it from the roofs, do you? You know?
No, or turn it into something it isn't.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
it shouldn't be.
Yeah, you don't have to shout anything from the roofs. You know, if you want to do that, you've got to do what you got to do, baby.
You believe what you believe, and
exactly.
so forth. Yeah.
So their first single. Now, what they did was when they reformed, they came back heavier and I would say stronger than ever. And in my opinion, I'm going to split and divide a lot of people now. I would say some of their best works, musically anyway, and their first single, White Power, in 1983. Okay, fair enough. You know, that's fair enough. It is what it is. And their first LP in '84, Hail the New Dawn.
Yes.
And those were on the, if I remember rightly, they went on to it was the Rockorama record label,
yes.
and that was the only label that hosted. And you know, fair play to that label.
Okay.
You know, it's a bold move, and you know, would I do it as a producer? Do you know what? I actually would.
Okay.
Because I don't care what people think. To be honest, if people want to be shallow and think that, that's absolutely fine.
Producing, because it's your job, you're just doing your job, you're not overtly involved.
No, exactly. But I don't produce anymore, so who cares? You know, that's a thing of the past. I haven't got time to do that.
No.
It's too faffy, and people can't play instruments anymore. Yeah, so
It's a thing of the past.
there you go. So they were instrumental, pardon the pun, in rock against communism. So that's the polar opposite of rock against racism.
Yes, it is.
So at the time, 1983, 84, Oi had a massive kick in. It had a massive kick in. Gary Bushell had used in his, I'm not going to say it's his infinite wisdom because it wasn't. So the LP, if you remember.
We spoke about this before, didn't we?
We did indeed.
One of our punk skinhead videos.
So on the front of that famous LP was none other than Nicky Crane.
Nicky Crane. I was thinking about, Nicky Crane.
No, Nicky Crane only appeared on the front of the LP because Colton Leach couldn't.
Okay.
So if you don't know who Colton Leach is, go and, you know, he's written a book. Go and look at things like the Essex Boys and, you know, other sort of, you know, other sort of Essex types things.
Gangsters.
And the you know, all the sort of the intercity firm, etc., etc.
So many.
And yeah, he was supposed to be on that. He couldn't make the photo shoots. They got Nicky Crane.
He was like a roadie, wasn't he?
He was a roadie for Skrewdriver.
Yes, he
Now,
was.
who knew that? And then he was exposed. He was later exposed, wasn't he, as being gay?
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know, if he wants to do that, that's absolutely fine.
He just got outed, didn't he?
He got outed, and I think that was wrong. That people can witch hunt. How can you witch hunt somebody for their sexuality?
Somebody saw him frequent a nightclub in London called Heaven.
Yeah.
Somebody said they spotted him and then outed him, and.
But if he wants to do that, let him
That's
do
it.
it. He's not hurting anyone.
No.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And anybody who says that, and it's the media again, and it's anything to discredit someone.
Gosh.
You know, all the guy's done is just lived his life.
Of course.
That's all he's done. If he's enjoying himself, knock yourself out. Grab life by the horns and ride it like a road. Yeah, that's what I say, you know.
Yeah.
Bang on, mate. Absolutely. So, later, right, what they did was the White Noise record label, and a lot of Skrewdriver's works and sort of like what I call polar opposite Oi bands recorded on White Noise record label.
Right.
And the promotion network set up by not necessarily by Skrewdriver, but they were instrumental within it, was called Blood and Honour. And that was made especially for groups like that who couldn't get a fair crack of the whip.
Okay.
So their so-called artwork can be heard. Whether you want to call it artwork or not, that's up to you.
Yes.
You know, whether it's right,
To the individual.
whether it's right, whether it's wrong. You know, like I say, I've got no opinions, no affiliations.
Me neither. Many albums as well, didn't they?
On White Noise,
Oh,
on
that.
White Noise record label.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but no, Screwdriver. No, sorry. So
they?
Screwdriver did. Yeah, so they went to they did White Rider. Then they did We've Got Power. So they did 2 in 1987.
Oh, right.
Then After the Fire 88. Then Warlord 89. Then I think there was the Strong Survives.
Strong Survive, something like that.
Yeah, in around about 1990. And my favourite LP, bar none, which is ridiculous, really.
Oh.
But it's just my favourite. The LP cover, Boots and Braces, Voice of Britain.
Oh, is that the one with the back at the bottom of somebody's boot?
Pair of boots together, yeah.
Boots
and Braces. It's a compilation LP, and it's absolutely brilliant. Voice of Britain's on there.
The Voice, that one.
Yeah. I don't like you.
Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Back with a Bang.
Oh yeah. Gosh.
They're all brilliant. In fact, my favourite song, my favourite Screwdriver song, is Back with a Bang. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Right, so that's a compilation of stuff from 77 through to 87, and I think that was just an absolute brilliant compilations. So if you don't know who Screwdriver are, if you've not checked them out, go and you can't buy that vinyl anymore. In fact, you can't buy anything Screw, especially in the United Kingdom. It's completely wiped out. You'll see it second hand on eBay. You can buy t-shirts from Screwdriver, and talking of Screwdriver t-shirts, there was controversy a few years ago where Walmart in the United States decided, they're going to stop band tees, the typical band tees. Now, kids beat kids, and I can't remember what video I mentioned this in about people wearing band tees.
Oh yeah, it's the AC/DC and Iron Maiden and all that.
People went out and bought, they've got Screwdriver t-shirts, and I'm like, whoa.
I'm wondering if they knew.
No, they didn't. Just because you wear that, it doesn't mean you support their ideology. It means, let's,
people, they just see, just look and see, and then automatically they think, that's that.
Exactly.
Without checking first.
Just because I like Tchaikovsky doesn't mean I wear a freaking white wig like with a bloody conductor stick or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't mean that. It just means I happen to like that piece of music. And I thought, because it was music, I thought you could like it, but some people, narrow-minded.
Gosh, man.
Obviously you can't.
I mean, when we spoke about people hearing messages in records, I know this is off the track, but it's like similar.
Off the track, just what you did there, record track.
Any pun intended. Boom, boom. Yeah, people hearing messages in records.
Subliminal backwards messages.
Say get the gun or shoot or kill yourself.
Go and kill yourself, yeah.
Yeah, it's when there isn't, it's just what they hear, and then they go and do just that.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a problem with that actually.
Oh my gosh.
There you go. It's know your own mind. That's my philosophy.
Gosh, man.
So going back to those, they did Live and Kicking.
Is that 91 or 90?
91, and then the early years in 91 as well.
Oh, right.
And then Freedom in 92. So I just wanted to drill down into something, Mrs Moonstomper, because we mentioned Nicky Crane.
Yes.
It was actually on Channel 4 where he actually came out.
Okay.
Channel 4 programme, I think it was 90. It was in the early 90s. I'll put it on the screen the year because I can't quite remember, but I remember him saying he came out as being gay.
Okay.
And somebody somewhere filmed Donaldson on stage calling for Nicky Crane's murder.
Oh my God.
Now,
is he sort of hitman or something?
no, but Donaldson fell out with Crane. But Donaldson's beliefs were actually hardened in Wormwood Scrubs.
Okay.
So he went to Wormwood Scrubs for an attack on in Waterloo in London in I think it was the late 80s or something, or I'm going to say it was about probably the mid 80s actually, and he spent a year in jail. I think when Blood on an LP came, it was about 85, and that's where his beliefs were hardened.
Okay.
When he came out, he was overtly racist at that point. And there was I remember a documentary of him actually calling out other skinheads, saying, "You're not a skinhead."
Alright.
So, you know, like sort of like the original skins.
Alright.
Yeah, and he called skinheads out. He literally called them out saying, "You're not a skinhead. You know, I'm a skinhead. You're not a skinhead."
Who is he to judge and
Yeah,
tell
exactly.
people what they are and who they are?
Yeah, and again,
Shouldn't
it's
be.
personal opinion.
Yeah.
Again, it's personal opinion.
That's
Like,
it.
and like I say, if that's your personal opinion, stick your personal opinion. Not interested. You know, I've got a personal opinion as well. I feel like arseholes, everyone's got one. Do you know what I mean? It's like join the club, you know. That's what you think.
Dear.
You came out and said it, I didn't have to say it. You
I
know,
know.
but you know, there you go.
Some people are so opinionated, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Gosh.
Yeah, me included, probably.
We'll
Hopefully not.
say- No.
And I hope we didn't come across as opinionated on this. You know,
No.
not that we want to.
Some people don't like it back up them, do they, Mr Moonstomper? Mr Moonstomper, didn't they do a track about the IRA?
They'd smashed the IRA.
Yes.
Yes, that was really popular in Northern Ireland with loyalists, obviously.
Oh, yes.
But there was a Belfast band called Offensive Weapon.
Okay.
They covered it as
Oh,
well.
yes.
Now the perverse thing about that is they would do other covers like Chuck Berry, so go figure. Yeah. But there you go. I'm confused, so you will.
Yes.
But. So 1993, September 93,
Yes.
Ian Donaldson died.
Yes.
And he died in a car accident.
Yes, he did, yes.
Along with one other who died the next day. But he died instantly.
He
Now,
did.
some people actually said, because Blood and Honour was big, it was a multi-million-dollar money-raising machine. So that raised money for the British National Party,
Yes.
for National Front, for organisations like Combat 18, which is perverse because Combat 18 were actually in cahoots with the IRA,
Oh, I see.
but the British National Party and Skrewdriver didn't like the IRA. So go figure. Yeah. So it's all a bit. Yeah, it's all a bit.
I'm confused.
It's all a bit political.
Yeah,
But they
it's
raised
confusing.
some serious money for Blood and Honour, and I don't know whether that got up the security services nose that much that they had to get rid of Donaldson because he was seen as an icon and a leader.
Oh.
And nevertheless,
Oh.
when that car crashed, there was a nail found in the rear tyre. Not that I'm saying that'd make your vehicle crash,
The plot thickens.
but a lot of people said that. Then a couple of months later, Nicky Crane died
Oh, yes.
of age-related complications.
Yes, he did, yes.
And he was age 36 as well,
As
so
well,
both age
gosh.
36.
That's
and-
like uncanny, isn't that?
Yeah, and pretty much that was the end of Skrewdriver.
Yes,
pretty
of course.
much. Yeah. I mean, there were a couple of like sort of posthumous releases, like Land on Fire, Hail Victory, and like Flying the Flag. Flying the
That's
Flag
it.
was 2005.
Yes, yes.
But you know, needless to say, tragic loss of life.
Yes, proper tragic.
Because no one deserves to lose a life like that. But again, pin your colours to the mast.
Yes.
And you know, I'm not saying that should have happened.
Oh,
you know,
gosh, no.
because of your beliefs. Whether that did happen
Believe
because
what
of
you
your
want to
beliefs.
believe.
But yeah,
Yes.
and then Grinny died as well. Grinny died. Was it? I'm going to say it might have been. It might have been 10 or 15 years ago, if I remember rightly. So Mrs Moonstomper,
Oh, yes.
Mrs
Oh.
Moonstomper.
Oh.
I think I'm completely dried up, which makes a change because I could talk a bloody glass eye to sleep. Have you got anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Perhaps I shouldn't have asked this, but what do you want to say?
Watch out. There's a Humphrey about. Yeah.
Man. Alright, okay. Right, so what have you got coming up next week? No, I can't remember either.
No.
In fact, it's a
Caught me by
surprise.
surprise,
So
yes.
it'll be the new year,
It's a
it'll be
surprise.
2025. Don't forget, mid-January onwards, for roughly 6 weeks, there or thereabouts, we've got the most amazing competition. It's a game you've got to play, and
Oh, yes.
there are some amazing prizes. So
Oh, yes.
there's a main prize, there's Mrs Moonstomper's special prize and there's my special prize as well,
Yes.
and a couple of other little bits and bobs. So wherever you are in the world, it doesn't matter where you are, we'll foot the postage for whatever you're going to win, and we'll get it off to you. It'll be entry by email only, and we're going to randomise it and get it picked at random, and we'll do a show where we do something and we'll do a prize draw at the same time.
Of course.
It'll be like the national lottery. So there you go.
But richer.
Absolutely. And we're
Richer in the heart.
yeah, and we're richer for it. We're
Yes.
richer for having you on board, guys. So nothing else to say? No?
No.
So
No.
guys, until the next time, I've been Mr Moonstomper. I love you all as always. Peace out, my friends.
Love you. Stay alive.